Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for taking time out and being here to watch this episode of our webinar on very important and happening topic, that's CX and agentic AI. As you know, that customer experience in Middle East faces a lot of challenges because of a lot of reasons. One is fragmented digital transformation and inconsistent omni-channel engagement, cultural and language diversity, so on and so forth. Plus, legacy systems are there, which is hard to change. In order to discuss about the challenges and opportunities, today we have uh, all the special guests. They represent different organizations, and they will take us through their own experience and their own strategy so that our learning can be better. We can reskill ourselves and help our peers also. Let me introduce our moderator first. Mr. Basil Ayass, he is interim leader for Africa, Google Cloud. Basil, thank you very much for taking time out. You have been very kind to us. I know that you are traveling, but you have been very kind to us to be here and taken the most important part to keep the cord intact. That's the moderator.
It's a pleasure being here, Sanjay. Thank you so much for the invite. I'm looking forward to this.
All right, let me introduce the most experienced personality in this. That is Ebrahim Kamalzadeh. He's CIO for Al Nabooda. You can make out how important is he from his background. So so many cars are there. All are imported and all are super luxurious vehicles. Ebrahim, thank you very much coming in and sharing your viewpoints.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ebrahim. Next up is Fahad Qureshi. He's Director IT for Talabat. If you are getting any food at your place, you must be the app must be there in your phone. That's Talabat. So Fahad, thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Sandeep Mahindra, Senior Enterprise Architect, Solution Architect, GVM. GVM is not unknown to anybody. That's one of the largest IT distribution companies in Middle East region. And Sandeep is kind of backbone for that in terms of the technology adoption and technology decision making. Sandeep, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, Sanjay.
Thank you. And last but not the least, that's Ways Fagan, Regional SBP Strategy and CDesO at Endava. Wes, thank you for joining from a different country together. You are giving a different flavor.
Thanks for having us. Delighted to be here.
Thank you. So we have 1 hour from now. Basil, over to you. We'll take, if there is any question, obviously we'll take at the end of this session. But in the meantime, if you have questions, you can ping here. There is a question window also. We'll take automatically the answer. If we don't get the time, we can answer that offline as well. Basil, over to you. Thank you very much. Please enjoy.
Thank you, Sanjay, so much. And huge thanks to the panelists for making it. And huge thanks to you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to listen to this discussion. I can promise you we've prepared an engaging discussion around agentic AI and how it is going to change customer experience. We have a well-balanced panel. Ebrahim and Fahad are going to be representing the client side, and Sandeep and Wes are going to be representing the vendor side. And I'm going to stand in between and moderate and make sure no fights break out. So I've encouraged all of them to not only agree with their fellow panelists, but also disagree, because I think that's where panels become fun. So let's kick off and start at the beginning. You know, AI has entered our lexicon a couple of years ago. I'd like to ask you, when was the last time you learned about LLMs? It's amazing how in the last couple of years, we have come so far. Now, the new word on the top of the hype curve is agentic AI. So to kick us off, I'd love to start off with Ebrahim. Ebrahim, can you briefly define what is agentic AI? How is it different from previous generations of AI, like traditional chatbots, generative AI, LLMs?
Yep. Agentic systems is basically has been around for quite a long time, but during recent years, I think it has taken lots of attractions because of the new algorithms and increase in the computing power. So I think this concept is going to be a paradigm in technology, which is going to take the AI systems, what we have around us, to next age, next dimensions. And I think the new concept is going to have lots of impact on every corner of the business that we are operating. It is going to impact digital transformation projects and as well as cybersecurity. Also, the areas, and specifically, I have to mention about the customer platform. Now, the new concept is obviously it is going to allow the current chatbots to come out of its silo, and the agent is going to allow you basically not only to communicate with the end user, but it can perform a certain task, right? So the agents can answer basically very simple queries. It can find basically best fit a product for a customer, but at the same time, it can also perform very complex tasks, such as creating, I would say, a new business strategy, even though for a company, based on the past performance and historical data. So the concept of agentic systems should not be confused with the virtual assistant and the AI assistant what we have, because these systems are going to be very reactive, so waiting for the input from the users, but the agentic system will be very proactive, and it can be, do some certain analysis and can be assigned with certain tasks. So now, if I summarize it, I would say such a system will be very highly characteristics by things like autonomously. So that means it can perform certain jobs without human interaction. This system has got a very high capability of decision making. It can act on its own and do a certain task. The system is meant to be very basically proactive, and then it is very much goal oriented. So you can define a boundaries and limitation for the system to do to carry out some certain jobs. I will complete my talk by giving you one example. I hope that I can clarify, using this example. So assume that someone comes to our showroom and it is very much interested in buying of our vehicle. So the agent can be tasked to look into the transactions of that day on that set. So here shows the autonomous behavior of the system. So the system is going to look into the order history. It can also view the communication of the customer that he was having in past with the showroom. It can do a certain analytics, such as behavior-based analysis for the customer. And it can by its own, so it's in this case going to take some proactive action. So that means it is sending an email to the customer thanking for the purchasing of the car. And it is also asking customer to provide them with some feedback and recommendations, all right? So and then just to complete basically and to maximize this engagement, it can offer some upsell to the customer.
All right, excellent. So I heard agentic AI is proactive, not reactive. I heard agentic AI does tasks. It doesn't only communicate. And you gave us a great example of how you're using it at Nabooda Motors. I'd love to move on to Fahad at Talabat. Is there something that you would like to add to the definition of agentic AI and perhaps give us an example of how you're using it at Talabat, if you are?
Yeah, sure. I think Ebrahim explained very well, but I just wanted to little bit add on top of it. Like agentic AI is a new class of AI systems that go beyond passive response generation. These systems are not reactive, they are proactive, autonomous, and goal-driven. Like unlike traditional chatbots or even generative AI tools like GPT-3 or image generation, agentic AI can plan, take actions, make decisions, and adopt over time to meet objective, often minimal human intervention. So I can say I can just classify into the three main points. Like traditional chatbots follow scripts or predefined rules. They wait for the inputs and respond. Generative AI like GPT can create content, but it still relies heavily on human prompt to act. But agentic AI act more like a digital teammate, right? It can set sub goals, use tools, learn from outcomes, and execute tasks across systems, almost like a junior employee that get better the more you use it, right? So the shift
I love it.
is a fundamental. We are no longer talking about tools that help us to do things. We are taking about system that can do things for us while aligning with our goal and adjusting all the contexts that we are looking. I think that's all about it.
I love it, Fahad.
Yeah.
No. It sounds great. So autonomous is important, but I love how you described it as a digital colleague, somebody that you can rely on, a junior person that will learn with time,
Exactly.
but this is someone that you can rely on. I'd love to move to the vendor side of the table now. So we know that agentic AI, promises to deliver a truly proactive and a personalized customer experience. So Sandeep, at GBM, what are the critical strategic imperatives and the foundational infrastructure considerations that enterprises in the Middle East and Africa region must address to successfully implement agentic AI? It sounds great, but I'm sure there's a lot of investment that needs to be done. So what has your experience led you to believe?
Thank you, Basil. So in this work, I've seen the TCO and ROI for the AI is very difficult to address. So first of all, we need to identify the business case and whether that problem is worthwhile to solve or not. Because there are a lot of generation of the video just for fun. It's a different side, which we are doing for Ghibli videos and all this stuff. But when it comes to business, people are looking at it's really worthwhile to identify the business case and resolve with the AI, considering the cost of it. Because infrastructure cost for the AI is way expensive nowadays. But in the cloud space, when we are using the infrastructure and the business, so we have to make a proper economics of the AI business case. Once we are identifying the business, I'll give an example of, because more on the customer side, as Ebrahim and Fahad clearly mentioned about the personalization, proactiveness. So majorly is the whatever the repetitive task is required to engage the customer, it becomes that AI agent or army of AI agent become agentic AI that is a companion for the customer selling the business story, whatever is on another side, activities wise. So it may be initially the awareness, then they will be saying a little bit giving more experience. So first awareness, then giving a showroom kind of experience for the Porsche, let's example, or the in these areas, and then the customer is keep asking the questions without any time boundaries. So they are saying 24/7, they keep asking the question. So this business case is identified, fine, very nice. Whether it's more the customer experience side, yes. Then coming to the infrastructure, let's start with the cloud-based solution where we have initial pilot. if a success story is fantastic and people are engaging, because it's kind of fast fail approach. Maybe we know it's a very good business case, but the attraction in the market is not there, right? Or maybe some approach gap is there. So initially we have to start with a small pilot project and then move forward. So based on that, then we can go for infrastructure. Initially, the first recommendation would be going on the cloud-based approach where the pay as per use model is there. AI is available. Some tools are available on the CEX. If you have a customization, the tools are available. Even these platforms are helping to give you more flexibility when you would like to build a bespoke applications. So that's my take on this. Yeah.
Oh, great. Excellent. So I heard from you, the business case is important, right? So sometimes in the initial stages of awareness of a new technology, we use technology for technology's sake. But what I heard you say is that, yes, sometimes let's look at the business case and understand why. Fahad at Talabat, I know you're a digital native organization, right? And Sandeep mentioned the cloud, but many organizations in the Middle East struggle with data governance and integration. So I would love to hear your views on, what role does governance play when we want to build a robust agentic system that can deliver on this great promise of having a digital human by your side?
Okay. See, at Talabat, our focus is not adopting AI for the sake of innovation, right? It's about delivering real scalable value to the customer across our regional diverse market. To successfully implement agentic AI in a way that transforms customer experience, we have identified a few critical strategic areas, you can say. I can list it down as a 4 main pillars that is coming up in our strategy. The first one, you can say, is a process arrangement across systems. We need AI agent that can not only access data, but also act across platforms, from CRM, order management to rider dispatch, restaurant coordinations. And that requires clean integrations, APIs, and system transactions. The second main point in it is real-time data infrastructure. That is something because agentic AI relies heavily on real-time context, right? So we are planning to invest in streamlining the data platforms and event-driven architecture that allow agents to monitor, predict, and act instantly on the live operations. For example, participate in a failed delivery before the customer is even impacted. The third one, I would say, customer-centric design thinking, right? AI is not only transformative if it solves the real pain points, right? So we're looking to embed agentic AI use cases into a real CX journey, from proactive compensation offers after a bad experience, you can say, to smart routing of the support tickets, to dynamic personalized based on ordering habits. And the last one is very important: security, trust, and scale. So operating across MENA, because we are the entity who is operating in a whole MENA region, most of the countries. So operating across MENA required agentic systems that are secure, regionally compliant, and able to scale across various local infrastructure, whether it's our call center is in Egypt or our UAE cloud platform. Yeah, so I think that's all about it.
No, thanks a lot, Fahad. Wes, you've been patiently waiting. I see the beautiful London skyline behind you. So thanks for joining us from London. I don't have such a beautiful view. I'm in Cape Town at the moment. So on this panel, we have Dubai, Abu Dhabi, London, and Cape Town represented, which is great. But, we heard Sandeep talk about cloud and talk about infrastructure requirements. And do you have any, from an Endava perspective, have you worked with any customers that have implemented agentic AIs? And can you talk a bit about the challenges they came across while they looked at scalable infrastructure to support the move?
Yeah, I'm glad you like the background. It's I'm usually based in Sydney, so I've been down here just for a few weeks with work. So I'll be hopping on a plane soon to head back to Sydney. It's a little bit grayer than Sydney, but it's nice. So firstly, yes, the example that jumps to mind is we work with some pretty large energy and mining customers, and the infrastructure piece that they had was that given where their physical landscape is that they're working in, they're needing agentic tooling to be able to help decisioning or automation or processing, and working on from an IoT perspective. It's very much you need to think about the constraints of OTA and OTA connectivity, so over the air connectivity, I should say. And we've seen a lot of infrastructure demand put on ruggedized media players to take into consideration of heat and reference and stuff like that as well. And it starts to play into the predictive maintenance lifecycle. So if you can have a device that is effectively off the grid but has a localized agentic workflow in the device, it can use things like computer vision. It can use things like different tooling to make predictive analysis of wear and tear on devices. And then once that happens, when it does come back onto a connectivity point of view, the data impact and the share of that can then help supply chain optimization, ESG standards, transformation programs that you might have, transit programs that you may have, purchasing behaviors, supply chain behaviors. So it really is about that proactivity, and the nature of automation means that you can very quickly expand the touch points and the interactivity that you can have in your organization. And that's some of the stuff that we're working with in that space.
No, that's great. And mining is a really interesting example, right? Due to the remote nature of the mines where the operations happen. When organizations try to implement agentic AI on site, do you struggle with heating, powering, the availability of GPUs? So how do you overcome those when using cloud like Talabat does in the UAE, or GBM?
I think
Sandeep said
the standards of certification now for ruggedized media players, specifically around the power outage, the GPU demand, the compute power needed, stuff like that. It's really about trying to unpack the technical restrictions, and then from that point of view, then thinking about how you can marry that up from a technical compute output, right? So it's not something that we've actively done with a client, but something that we've definitely seen in our industry advice. We have an industry advice component of our business, and a lot of the insights that they're feeding through is all around the potential use cases for SLMs, because obviously an SLM is a small to a large, and with an SLM you have a bandwidth difference, right? So SLMs can operate inside an agentic model where they will jump back to the LLM to make an agentic call to make a decision, but they are, very, very intelligent, very accurate within a specific bandwidth. And what that does then is from a heat sink and a design perspective is that the power and the compute that you need on device in the actual instance is reduced. So therefore the severity of the environment not as severe.
I love it. Switching tracks now, you talked about marrying the technical infrastructure requirements with the business, but I would love to learn and to discuss a bit more about the evolving role of humans in the customer journey. So, the concept of this autonomous AI agent, as Fahad mentioned, a digital human colleague. What is the role of humans in the customer agent? So in Endava, how do you envision the optimal human and AI collaboration model?
I think the way we look at it is at Endava, and this is a big piece across, I think, the service industry, because we're trying to think about it as both it's a value add for our workforce, but it's also a value add for our customer. So then the human in the loop debate is interesting, be it across different agency scales, not agency in terms of the AI agency in terms of the human. And there's probably two paradigms that's falling down into. There's the agency that is impacted from an automation perspective. So how is AI going to cohabit, co-work with us from an automation point of view? And that can break down across different things. There's some incredible studies that are coming out recently around how that is actually going to change the way we work. So yeah, and then the other lens to it then is automation. So where there's ways where the human involvement with AI is solely an automation narrative. So it's augmentation and automation are the two kind of pieces. I think if you to take a step back and you'd say, okay, how do you design? How do you build? How does it come together? It's really around shared intent, and that's probably the headline that I'd probably leave with. It's around you have a shared intent that you're fluidly trying to deliver value for your customer. And then having a jump point to then start thinking about as from an automate and an augment point of view, where's the technology and the human going to play a role throughout that service piece. I think that just the last point I'm making of Basil is I think from a customer, what resonating really well with customers right now is building and designing and with transparency. So really saying this is where we're interacting, this is where the system's interacting, and this is why we're interacting at this crossover and narrowing the band. And then the feedback loops, making sure Agentic is in there from a feedback point of view with human oversight. And then the last thing then is considering empathy in what we're doing from a process point of view, because that is realistically the thing that is unsolvable right now. And the empathetic piece to it is, intelligence oversight, but intelligent oversight with behavior.
Okay, I love it. So Wes has just claimed that, it's unsolvable to get agentic AI to be empathetic. I would love to counter that point for now, absolutely, because I have many friends that have turned to AI for just that empathy, right? AI has been playing a huge role with mental health, coaching, and apparently for the younger generations on planet Earth, they prefer to talk to AI rather than to another human because they find it more empathetic. Wes, I love the augmentation and automation angle, but then you also mentioned ethics. So maybe Fahad can lean in, or Ebrahim, please put your hand up, whoever wants to go first. What are the ethical considerations and the design principles that we need to be aware of when deploying agentic systems? Because you all told me agents make actions, they take decisions, and these actions are going to impact your customers. So how does ethics play a role in deploying agentic systems that are going to interact directly with your customers? Who wants to take that?
Yeah, so now, obviously, once we are deploying any agentic systems, so we are talking about the machine, which is communicating basically to the customers. So there are some areas like empathy and some ethical considerations that has to be always taken into the consideration because of the fact that the machine at some point of time is making error, and there has to be a way that the decision which has been taken or interaction has been taken by the machine, it has so that it can fall back again to the human. So I think now the concept of human agent and as well as the machine agent, that goes for some time hand in hand. Because of the level of the, at this point of time, I think the readiness is not, we haven't reached that readiness or that level that we can hand over everything to the machine so that the machine can do all type of communication by itself. So at some point of time, I think it should be there that the human agent should take over. And that model of human agent plus machine agent will have it for a long time, I think. Yeah.
All right, Fahad, do you want to add to that? Do you agree that we're not ready to, as Ebrahim said, let the machine take over?
Completely. Yeah. That's something like, see, we have to define the role very properly, right? Like AI agent, like has to be augmented or our frontline teams. For example, they can do the task like surfacing real-time context, past interactions, and uh, and suggest the next steps, right? The hands-off between AI and the human has to be frictionless, like ensuring continuity in the customer experience, right? Feedback loops, it's very important. Like the feedback loops from human agent help the AI continuously improve its decision making and empathy modeling. So I think it's a collaboration between the human and the agent. Regarding the ethical consideration that you just asked initially, so it has to be like there are some factors that we have to be considered, right? So number one is the transparency. Like customers should always know when they are interacting with AI versus a human, and what the agent can do and cannot, right? So we are planning to design our system with the clarity, not deception, right? Accountability, it's also very important. Like even if an AI agent act with autonomy, accountability remain with us, right? So we have to embedded escalation protocols and human in the loop to control, ensure like this process is continuously following. And of course the bias, right? The bias and the fairness, because when you are dealing with the in the multi countries, different cultures, different type of people. So like just taking the example of Talabat, like we operate in Egypt, UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, Iraq, and many more. So our AI systems going to be trained and tested to avoid cultural, language, and demographic bias, right? So this is also one of the very important point, and privacy also. Like consider data used by genetic system must be governed by the strict compliance with the local data protection laws and must respect user preferences. Empathy also, like agentic AI must reflect our brand tone and customer centric values. Even automated messages are craft to be helpful, respectful, and human like in tune, because how we communicate matters as much as what we say, right? So so what I must say, at the end of the day, agentic AI like is not about removing human from the loop. It's about making the loop smarter, faster, and more human at the right moment. That's all about me. Yeah.
Oh, great. No, I love it. So we heard a lot, right? We heard about transparency, accountability, escalation, bias, privacy, empathy. Sounds like a lot. Sandeep, you want to add something?
Yeah. So I'll just share my prior experience with MIT, where the Lincoln Laboratory already given one framework called FASTETS. Okay. So that particular is fairness, accountability, safety, transparency, ethics, privacy, and most important is security. So you mentioned about one more point. So this is a proper framework. Under that framework, there is a lot of things, let's say hallucination, okay, some use cases. This is to build a business use cases, right? So they are that based on that, they are prepared the blueprint for the US and other Europe. They are working on this same framework to build regulation around AI. So we cannot pass on everything to AI. Yes, people are working on autonomous agentic AI right now. Let's example Tesla robotaxi, where they're taking actions, right? Based on the LiDAR information, they are saying this is a human, from the imaging, computing everything, taking right turn, left turn, brake, all these are actions. But do you think, can we rely on radio taxi with the full autonomous at the moment? Yes, it's under trial in US because they are on the advanced stages. But across the generative AI, can we do this for overall AI ecosystem? I don't think so. So this is my take because everyone has covered very, very well. I'm just putting the framework, which is more foundational from the blueprint point of view, regulation-wise, and answering a question that you asked for, whether we can pass on our operation to the AI world or not. So that's not the stage. They are still evolving. Everybody is saying regulation they have drafted, but it's not yet fully implemented anywhere. But still they're giving know-how, how should you build the cases under the same framework so you capture all the component of fast steps that I mentioned about. Thank you so much.
I love it. This is, first time I hear about fast steps, but that's really a nice acronym to remember all the lovely ideas that Fahad shared. Wes, technologies, when they come around, they always come around with significant hype. So I was wondering, what are the specific metrics or KPIs that you believe will become the new benchmarks for success in the agentic AI-powered CX landscape?
Yeah, that's a very hot topic at the moment, right? Because we're from a consultancy service provision, we're trying to think about, as we start to interweave AI into the way we operate, and we become AI native in approach, and as we bring new workforce into the business, like if you think about the graduates that are coming out of university right now, they're going to come in with a completely different perspective of what AI is, because they've obviously used it in the last 18, 24 months. But as we start to look at it, I think there's a couple of different topics and a couple of different kind of metrics that we start to break down. So whether there's a collaboration metric where you're looking at co-agency over autonomy, and does that lead to a new paradigm of velocity, velocity to value, whether it's a way for you to break down things such as value realized or value released, specifically when you look at clients that are looking at commercial off-the-shelf products versus bringing in service providers. So being able to think about AI and how AI can unlock value released is definitely a metric that we can attribute to net new things. The other thing that I think is really important about is the impact, right? So impact, with anything from a metric-based point of view, from a commercial offering that we'd offer, you want to tie success to value, not just to cost. Because success with value means clients, you develop a long-term relationship. So there's probably some areas of thinking that we want to kind of play into around relevancy released per interaction. So that ties specifically to success and value. So the relevance released per interaction, or the acronym of RRPI is the way we're thinking about it, is how that plays into commercial modeling going forward. And this isn't, I just kind of want to add just more of a personal comment to this. The metrics and the way that we break this down is not really specific to where we work or what we do. I think over time, it's going to be really interesting to see how ethically we all define, and as the marketplaces, what we want to become the net new metrics, because I'm sure Ebrahim or Fahad would have a very different perspective of what metrics they demand. Mm-hmm. And the same thing from an Endava point of view, and Sandeep from a GBM point of view. We have obviously the way that we serve customers, but then we also have the way that we want to work and the metrics that exist inside that piece. It's a balance, I think, is what I'm trying to get to.
I love it, Wes. Your wordsmithing. You use a lot of alliteration, and I love it. So
I'm
one
Irish,
alliteration
so I like
is
to paint the pictures.
velocity to value. I love that one. And then the next one is relevance released. So 2 alliteration for you, and those are great KPIs. I see, Ebrahim, I would love to hear from your perspective at Nabooda, what do you anticipate being the most significant ROI? Is it cost savings, or is it revenue growth, or is it relevance released per interaction, or something around velocity to value?
Yeah. So so now before I'm getting into this topic, so I want just to add, just being from the automotive retail business, I think the KPIs right now, the agentic system can add also of I think personalization of the is one of the aspects that is extremely important, at least for the business like us. And also just to fill up, the gap in the once we were looking into the customer journey. So that two aspects I look beside, customer satisfaction and all the other aspects. I think it's very bullish to me if I look into the agentic systems. But coming back to your question now, in terms of the ROI, yes, definitely we look in different way, because we are thinking that we are living or operating in an environment that the shift in technology and the customer preferences is very intense and dynamic, and the environment is extremely fast. So from that perspective, I think being a business, you have to align yourself also, with the today's trend. So for that reason, I think agentic systems, it has to be somehow to be considered extremely into the CX platforms, and it has to be linked directly to the business objectives, and it should be part of the strategic planning of the company. Now, what we can do with that is the following: by incorporating, I mean, it's, if you're enhancing the CX platform, so definitely you can, from our perspective, we can personalize the customer interactions very well, so that you're offering basically customers, you're tailoring your product and services, and also improving the response time is also one of the area that we are looking into that, because the customer eventually should not be bouncing back, between all the digital touch points. And the other area I'm thinking about bringing some kind of consistency across all the touch points what we have, whether it's website, apps, physical counter, contact center, etc. So all this, what I've named, eventually it can turn to tangible outcome for the business, a real ROI we are talking about. It has to be linked for that, because achieving all these aspects what I've named, it is going to lead to some kind of customer satisfaction, so increase the customer satisfaction level. And as well as it will increase of course the if the customer is happy, you will have more loyal customers with you, and retention period will be higher. So as the last one, I think it's one aspect is also extremely important. We have to see that the by incorporating of the agentic systems, many of the companies, if they want to be relevant in the market, they should look into the competitive advantages that this system is offering. By incorporating, I think the AI system, this competency will be much higher, and the companies, they can differentiate themselves, comparing to the other. Yeah. So these are the main things what I'm thinking about. Yeah.
So I heard you say that agentic allows you a more personalized. It reduces operational efficiency. It gives you a consistent touch point. In turn, that leads to customer satisfaction, which in turn leads to increased loyalty, which in turn leads to better, higher revenues, right?
Right.
So that's a very clear linkage to the business. It sounds so compelling. Why isn't everybody implementing it, right? So the MEA region, I know, presents some unique dynamics, and Sanjay in the introduction alluded to this. We live in such a diverse region, and customers have very varying degrees of preferences and varying digital maturity levels as well. So maybe Sandeep, with your experience at GBM working, in the thick of it, what are the specific challenges that you have seen with customers trying to implement agentic AI in their business?
See, when we are engaging with the customer, most of the time we start with the discovery workshop. In the discovery workshop, we understand the business case. While doing this business case is identified, but with respect to the region, there are other challenges that keep coming in each and every business case. One of the area is the natural language processing, because being we in the region in UAE specifically, 90% is expats, and they are from different countries, and they have a different language. Even they have a different dialect also. So if I'll give an example for GCC, a lot of the Arabic is there, but dialects are different. So system has to be smart enough, and natural language processing is not only about somebody is texting and responding as a generation of the same text or the language, but at the same time, when people are talking, like Alexa, then saying something, or they have Yango and then other solutions, right? So you have to do integration with them because they have a natural language processing with respect to the region, very specifically for Arabic, very specific to English, like US accent, the UK accent, and maybe Indian accent. So you need to understand what exactly they meant with this particular command. So this is one of the challenge. The other area is with respect to the compliances, because that is the most important for the customer to be compliant, is the considering the PI data in the region, because they are carrying the customer data. GDPR is also there, but very specific on the within UAE. Plus, there is a data privacy. You have to keep the data privacy, and there's a lot of certification required. So you have to keep the data within the country. Specifically for healthcare, it's more on the EMR data, right? So it depends industry vertical-wise challenges, then the culture-wise challenges, then regional-wise compliance challenges. While doing the discovery workshop, these are by default. While designing the solution, we have to keep in our mind. And then accordingly, we propose the solution and take a buy-in and validation from the customer before going for pilot, POC, and actual business case. So they know, yes, this is definitely going to help us. And people want to act nowadays. People don't want to buy the story. They want first, okay, show me the something on the pilot run. If it's running perfectly all right, we'll move forward. So most of the time it starts from the POC, building a trust, because as he clearly mentioned, Mr. West clearly mentioned about the velocity of the innovation on AI side, it's huge. So realization in between, we are human. We cannot absorb within the same speed, right? So that one, we have to start with this building a trust on the solution by POCs, pilots, and then they grow the solution and scale to the different region. And within the same region, let's just start with Abu Dhabi, they start with Dubai, and they start with the Northern Emirates also, or maybe in the other part of the world. So I think these are the major challenges, and these are also, they can unlock the opportunity when they scale and they are taken care of. In the background, we use the Falcon because they are saying it's Abu Dhabi-based research. A large language model use this. They're giving some benefits for the startups. Those are different story, but these are the opportunities and the challenges. And most important, the realization of the value. That is more important. That comes via POC and pilots. So that's my take.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, thanks a lot for that. That's very clear. So data residency, localization, concerns around use cases. That's why a discovery workshop is important, and a demo and a pilot. Wes, from your angle and perspective, how does the AI maturity level in the Middle East compare? And are customers struggling to adopt AI because of the maturity level internally when it comes to skills gaps and talent availability?
I think it's geo agnostic, to be honest, but I think it's each entity that we uncover and work with. Sound like we're discovering new people there. Each business that we uncover and each client that we talk to, it's really the people are getting plotted, or businesses are getting plotted across their AI native journey, and there's probably a couple of different doors that people walk through based on their readiness state. Not too dissimilar how in the past we may have mapped their technical fluency or their technical ability or the technology readiness state. But if you apply the same type of thinking from an AI point of view, there's probably two really interesting paradigms. So the first is the company's AI centricity. And you can map that across from AI, a business being AI blind to AI curious, all the way up to AI evangelism. And depending on where that business is, dictates the tempo and the speed of what Sandeep talked about from a discovery perspective, If you walk into and we have a few clients that are very far up the curve, then the discovery approach changes dramatically, because you then have an ability to utilize data to populate and propagate synthetic information. So discovery can go from being something where you might traditionally spend, 6 to 8 weeks building out a proof of concept, and that can happen in days. But then on the opposite side of that, then you also then have to think about the workforce behind it, so the employee experience. So there's one thing to say a company is on a ready state or a high ability and capability point of view from an AI point of view. But as you start to work and engage with that workforce, you're going to find that the workforce is on a different curve and a different readiness state. So, senior IT professionals may be higher in the AI native flow versus others. So it's a really difficult landscape at the moment to plot, but I think it's just to give you a quick anecdote. I know we're short on time, but it's always interesting when you work on things where you go in from an academia point of view and you start researching, so you want to understand a bit more. And when you go and look at the academia that the likes of Andrew Newman is putting out and stuff like that, everything is based in 2021, 2022, 2023. That's when the academia papers are, the reference papers are. So that tells you everything you need to know about the industry that we're kind of at play at the moment.
No, absolutely. You mentioned a lot of challenges, and I understand that the promise is large, but so are the obstacles. And I would love to hear from Fahad on how at Talabat you were able to overcome these obstacles and adopt some of these AI workflows despite all the challenges: AI maturity, talent gap, regulatory environment, data residency, all the stuff that Wes and Sandeep discussed.
It's very, very tricky and sensitive, we see it like the evolution of how work is done and value is delivered is coming up maybe in the coming years. AI will definitely reshape the competitive landscape, especially in the customer functions. But rather than replacing the alternative, or you can say the replacing the people, it will push us toward entirely new model that are faster, more personalized, and deeply customer centric, right? Like the vision must be like hyper personalized at a scale, right? Where AI agent can understand individual customers' preferences, order patterns, even time of day behavior of the customers, and tailor offer or support interaction according to the real-time data. The second thing is autonomous service delivery, like where routine CX processes like handling delays, substitutions, or proactive refunds are handled end-to-end by AI with minimum human touch, leading to both higher efficiency and better customer satisfaction. But this doesn't mean like we are going to lose the people, right? It's instead the nature of role will shift, you can say, from repetitive execution to more strategic, creative, or judgment-based work. For example, customer support agents will become customer experience strategist, right? The second is like operation staff may focus on training and supervising AI agents, managing execution, and driving innovations. Tech people will prioritize designing AI workflows that embedded empathy and the brand voice. So I believe the genetic AI won't eliminate the people role. It will uplift it. Like our job is to make sure like people grow with the technology, not get left behind it. So maybe we have to think about it, invest on our people, like investing in AI literacy and upscaling. The second, maybe embedded AI into the real business workflows, not just in labs, right? That most of the people are doing. And ensure AI is aligned with our values, speed, empathy, and trust. So I think that's how we can stay ahead of the curve and help shape the future of customer experience in our region. So in a nutshell, I must say, we have to be uplift ourselves with the trend, with the flow, and what is coming. We have to be prepared, so we will be in the market.
I love it. I love the optimistic view. Now you're getting on the alliteration train, and I love it. Grow, not get behind. Not eliminate, but uplift. And I like how instead of customer support agents, maybe in the future we'll have customer strategic specialists.
Exactly.
So that's a great optimistic view. Sandeep, you had your hand up. Did you want to add something to that before I ask my next question?
Okay, so I'm just adding because you asked about the couple of things. So there are one of the use cases I want to share with you. See, the AI solutions, most of the US and Europe-based companies, they already have identified the problems and the solution on a SaaS model, right? But the challenge with the region is they want the solution exactly solving the problem, but not the compliance issues, which is of the PI data and data privacy in the country. And they're not allowing their data center within the UAE also on AWS or on Azure. So such solutions, we worked on a couple of things like silicon data using metadata and integration of PI data, keeping data on-prem using the masking and encryption. And that SaaS application is communicating each other. So these are the best of two worlds. So one side, the solution is tried and tested and up and running in the Gartner report, but they don't have a data center in the region because they don't see a big market. As of now, it's not in the strategic goal, but the solution is very nice. On the other side, customer has to be compliant within the local bodies, right? So we are resolving the problem with the two different areas and keeping one PI data on-prem, which is for keeping the data, and communicating with the silicon data with the encryption. So this one I want to add because AI area, the tried and tested solutions are available most of the time in US area. China is also there, but the language barrier is there, right? When US is there, so those solutions is an immediate fit for those problems. And UAE is always following the innovation from the USA, right? So this is the helping the global solution and local compliance mitigation, and we are good to go with this. So I would just want to add how we can resolve this particular problem, and the solutions are available. Just adding. Thank you.
I love it. Even myself at Google Cloud, I've had some experience working with healthcare sector, which is very sensitive around their data and their PII. And there are solutions, like you said, that are available. So don't let data regulation stop you from innovating. We can work on masking the data, de-identifying it, encrypting it, and uploading it to SaaS providers or cloud providers around the world. And then once the AI model has done their job, we can come back, rehydrate it, and link it back. So I like what you called it, silicon data. It becomes metadata. It's de-identified. It has no PII, but it has a unique identifier that once it's back, you can know which customer you need to talk to and in what scale. All right, thanks for that, Sandeep. Let's try to wrap it up. We have a few more minutes. Fahad has already put the gauntlet down, and he said he doesn't believe that AI is going to replace our people behind customer experience, but it's going to uplift them. So I would love just for each of the panelists to give a 30-second, what is your opinion? Do you think in the long term, AI can potentially take our jobs? Or will it really just drive humanity to be uplifted and to think more on the ethics side, on the creativity side, on the privacy side, on the strategy side, and let AI do the mundane tasks? Wes, I see you thinking. You want to give it a shot? 30 seconds from your end.
Okay, I'll do my very best. In my opinion, I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a mass demand for EQ. And the reason I say that is I think an EQ-based professional is going to have the ability to be able to work in an agentic workflow where the multiple of outputs that they can manage is going to be incredibly important. So when it goes for agentic outputs is delivering what needs to be done. I think the quality and the skill sets and the mindset of a human's role in that type of piece is going to change dramatically, where you're going to be one of more conversational support, empathy, as we've talked about, and all the different versions of empathy, and really thinking about how you can negotiate the relationship piece, because the technical expertise will be covered.
I love it. From IQ to EQ, that is how humans are gonna be uplifted, and their roles are gonna change as agentic AI takes hold. Ebrahim, what is your take? Are our jobs at risk?
In my opinion, okay, there will be lots of transformations in terms of existing jobs, and then when perhaps we are stepping into the new job roles, many of the repetitive jobs definitely is going to be taken over by the AI agents. But however, in some certain cases, I think the role of the human in this ecosystem remains intact, because of the fact that the machine has to be, point one, it has to be controlled, because machine is error making, and it can be also taking different diversions or directions in terms of the cybersecurity. This type of systems, because is going to have extremely access to the private data, confidential data, and it can act, or it can be misused in different way. So therefore, I'm now thinking the human aspect in terms of controlling and having supervision role in this ecosystem remains intact.
All right, Ebrahim, thanks for that. So we have three optimists on the panel. Let's see with Sandeep. Sandeep, do you agree with Fahad, Wes, and Ebrahim? Our jobs are secure. Some will be replaced, but AI is not going to take over.
Yeah, I think there's some issue with my camera. Just a second. Meanwhile, we will continue with Fahad.
The minute Ebrahim mentions that technology can be error prone, I think the AI agent running in your camera heard Ebrahim and wanted to prove him right. So it decided to shut the camera down just to show that we are not ready. If, sometimes I get asked this question, will AI replace our jobs? And I tell them, have you seen somebody trying to get a paper printed? Have you seen how often we tell people, oh, your mic is muted or your headset's not working? Like, we can't get the basics of technology to work reliably, consistently, 24/7. Don't worry about your jobs. They're safe. But
Can I add something to it? There's a guy called Reid Hoffman. He's one of the founders of LinkedIn. And he recently wrote a book called Super Agency. It's a fabulous book. You should read it. His opinion on this I love. And I think it's not about like we're going to lose our jobs, or is it going to take our jobs? I think, yes, it is. It's going to take our jobs. That's the reality of it is. But it's about, when we look back on it, we'll think, I can't believe that was our jobs. So like the example he gives is that when the car first was released, before it had headlights and brakes, and it would be driving down a street, there were people who would walk in front of the car with flags, and they would wave the flags to tell the people to get out of the road because there's a car coming. And that was their job. Then someone invented headlights and brakes, and then those jobs just disappeared, right? So when I say that story, it's like, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Could you imagine someone walking in front of a GT-RS waving flags? Right, it won't happen. It's got great brakes. But I think it's going to be a position of, yes, it's taking the jobs, but we will look back at a time and we'll say, I can't believe that was just one part of my job. And your job will hopefully get to a point where it is 100-fold more differentiated, I guess.
Optimism, we're drowning.
So I can add the different.
You want to add some sobriety to the conversation?
I'm just adding quick one. See, the business is transforming. Why? Because we are into now internet world, and most of the operation, if you look at it, it's on the customer side now. Earlier, we used to work where someone is preparing a code, now people want self-service, and people want 24/7, right? running this operation with the people, it's difficult. They have an alternative now on the AI side, right? So job will be there, but roles and responsibilities definitely going to change. Whosoever is adopting this as their productivity companion, they will be remain in the job. Whosoever think of this is not my cup of tea, those people will change their role to something else. Why? Because they are doing repetitive jobs. So those jobs they can move somewhere else. There are some countries, or they are, because if you look at the UAE, people are moving to here and there, and they're going to home countries. They're saying, I'm in the remote area, I'm not into the metropolitan city, I'm into the rural area. There is no impact on the job with the help of AI. So only the big cities are getting into, because they're in a fast life and they want things 24/7. They have a Wi-Fi and they have a 5G connectivity. They want everything just quick one. But if you get the life on the rural area, it's still slow. So there will be a paradigm shift in the complete business transformation. And now we have alternative thanks to technology. Earlier, all these AI started in 1950s, by the way. Now the velocity and adoption is much higher, because the business is transforming and business is demanding all these AIs. Otherwise, people will not do innovation in these areas, right? So people are doing quantum computing from last 10, 15 years, but now they're thinking of there is a demand in next 5, 10 years. So they're investing more money over there. Like Google is investing, IBM is investing, AWS, everybody is in quantum computing, because they think in the future we have to compute so much of data. And because of the business saying we have so much data available on social media, internet, here and there, Google, and it's easily accessible. We are self-service. So the self-service we are giving, if you are not giving, someone else give it to them. So there is a competition. So that's the reason business transformation is demanding all this AI. They keep doing innovation, because they know if we are doing it now, we are innovating and we can charge much more to the customer. That's the reason people are considering TCO is higher, ROI people don't know.
I got it, man. Sandeep, thank you. You have completed. We have a unanimous decision. AI is for good. Unfortunately, we're out of time. It's been an hour on this panel, but it's been so good to talk to all of you. Thanks for the nuggets of insight that you've shared. We started off defining the landscape, and Ebrahim told us AI is different than agentic AI. Agentic AI, they are proactive, not reactive. They take tasks and decisions. Then we talked about, what is the imperative? Why should we change? And we spoke about, requirement to invest in infrastructure. We spoke about cloud. We spoke about regulation and access to data. We spoke about being able to deliver a personalized service. And then we heard from Wes at Endava about his customer around the limitations of connectivity, especially in remote areas, the requirement for heating and local power supplies, and the ability to be able to deliver these in ruggedized environment. We then moved on to the human and AI collaboration, and we say human is in the middle. Human is there to make sure we have an ethical engagement. Fahad was really keen on talking about feedback loops and collaborations and ethics and transparency and accountability. Sandeep shared with us the lovely acronym I will never forget, FAST Steps. Thank you for that. And then we heard from Wes around the ROI. How do we measure agentic AI? We heard about velocity for value. We heard about utilization. We heard about relevance released per interaction. And then we heard from Sandeep how we overcome some of these challenges around, de-identifying the data and being able to use SaaS services outside the country. And we ended up with Fahad opening up the discussion, concluding the discussion, saying in the long term, AI is going to uplift our roles. And I think I heard everybody agree with that. So thanks for our panelists. Special thanks to Enterprise IT World, Middle East and Africa, and Sanjay for organizing this and inviting us to have this discussion. I'm sure it could have gone on for many more hours, but unfortunately we have limited time and we have to say goodbye to you now. Thank you again, and back to you, Sanjay.
Thank you, Basil. Basil, who said that you should be there in the tech world. You should be somewhere else. such a beautiful way that you managed it and concluded it. I don't think that you are a technocrat, rather an actor in technocrat. You did everything so fantastically, unbelievable. You raised the bar of a moderator. I have never seen a moderator being so animated, so expressive. I believe that everybody will echo with me that Basil's moderation is the best. So thank you, Basil, for taking time out, and we will have more sessions with you, Basil. I promise you. You're mute, Basil.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Sanjay. It's always a pleasure to meet new people and to discuss new topics.
All right. Thank you, Ebrahim, for your experience, the words that you used around the technology, around AI, Agent AI. Fahad created so many new things here. Basil also agreed. He also picked up a piece of learning from your experience and your voice. Thank you, Fahad. Sandeep, thank you once again. You being in this topic 2 times. Every time you are enhancing your repertoire of solutions, repertoire of words that you have been using. Thank you for that. Wes, once again, thank you very much, and I wish that you enjoy in London for a week. Right? Must be very good weather now. So
it's not a
unfortunately,
choice.
yeah.
Just not a choice to be coming with the new. Actually, Basil is raising a bar.
Yes,
So we have to be there.
yes, I really wonder how Basil can manage and uplift, somebody who is listening to this conversation. He will be completely glued into it. 1 minute you cannot take off your eye from this conversation. Basil, once again, hats up to you. Thank you. So, gentlemen, I'm not able to. Yeah, I'm not able to take the question because we are late by I think 15 minutes. So all the leaders here present here, they have got their engagements. We'll make them free. You can write to me. You can take the questions offline. So thank you very much, all the gentlemen, and have a good weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Have a
Take
happy
care.
weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.